Okay, Stella's right there. So this is a really awkward position. She didn't even get up for hours more yesterday. There was just her dogs, I guess, and they're walking around or something. I thought, oh, they're about to come out because they kept hitting into the door. And so, anyways, it was hours. I could have kept talking. But there's a bunch of stuff I want to say. I was looking on TikTok. I just barely got up. So I'm still really out of it. Or still really, whatever, that morning time, whatever you want to call it. But I went on to TikTok, and it was kind of like I was just like too tired. Like it was tedious, and my head is hurting, and I was just like uncomfortable. And my whole algorithm is food ones right now. I swear to God, you stop and you watch one and you get like a zillion or something. But, and I would say that is the algorithm, but there's something else going on. It's like when there's a lot going on, because you're going and it's like there's got to be stuff going on. And there's no videos of it. Like, what in the hell? And so, and just weird videos, like weird videos. And so then when that will happen, I have seen, where I'll think, oh man, did I watch a whole bunch of whatever videos? Like, but think about it, how did that ever even get in there? For you to watch the one video that all of a sudden set the whole thing off. But when this happens, I always see a whole bunch of content creators come in and say, what has happened to my For You page? What's happened to my algorithm? So it's even though people say, well, it's the algorithm's out. No, there's manipulation going on behind the algorithm. The algorithm was created to be manipulated. And so then, I've learned so much just by experiencing what they've been doing to my account and watching and listening and hearing and then seeing and stuff. Is like, we're so manipulated. Our information, our interactions, everything is just, it's crazy. And things can only go as far as you allow them. Can you hear the plane? These planes are crazy loud. I swear to God, it sounds like I'm at an airport, how loud shit is. And, but anyways, I've got so many, I'm going to be all over the place. I know I have been lately. I mean, I can't, it's like it's whatever's cut, whatever you can hear the loudest. It's just, but it really feels like this morning, when I was, doing this stuff, talking, and I was like, the conversation's already begun. You guys are already going to town. So I was like, God, I gotta hurry up and get out there. Let me think, because there was a whole bunch of things that, and when I was in there, it was kind of like I didn't just all of a sudden start putting things together or something. Like I think, one thing too is, as people are awakening and stuff, is don't feel like you have to rush the process or something. I think a lot of people get caught up in like, oh, I gotta hurry up. If I go do this, I can make this happen and all that stuff. There's so much more about relaxing into it, because some of this stuff that is happening, if that happened a few years ago, I would have, it's weird ass shit happening. Like, so fucking weird that there's no, like, it's weird. Like, it is, like, with your body, with your sense of the environment. It's like you in the thing, in the place. It's like, it's just like detaching. It's like I can see it's like in a storybook, and all of a sudden the character comes alive in the illustrations and starts walking through the pages. That's kind of what it feels like. Like you were in this story. The story was written. You were going in this story, but then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, "Hey, what's my story? Let's look at this." And you start. It's an acknowledgement. I don't know. It's so weird, and as it happens, but it's like things are pulling from your, like it's being taken from you. It's not like you just doing it. And so that's the unsettling part, is that some of the stuff is happening. It's very trippy, but I've got one thing that it just is so so trippy, and it's weird, and I keep being like, how is this so trippy? But everything is just keeps like falling into place, and I don't know. It's like, is this like this shift in reality that all of a sudden, like, when that shifted and everything started turning green around me, and everything started going like more like, oh, I can see this on so many levels. Okay, okay. So in the thing where the energies were going to cross, and so I can't remember what it was called. That girl was talking about. She was talking about the two. And these people say these words like, I used to not even know what chakra was a few years ago, but it's like these, man. I don't know these words. I can see the pictures. I can see and I can understand. But so she was talking about the split and stuff, and the energies, and I think she was doing it with astrology or something. I don't remember. And so she was saying that that there's this one thing and then there's this other, but they have a convergence point. And so that is what, to me, it feels like we're leaving the convergence point. Like there was a convergence point where it was kind of like the two realities were merged together. And then the two realities began to shift and shake apart. And then the people who were awakening, this 5D is just the mindset. It's the opening your mind out of the 3D connect. It's just like a stepping out of the, well, some of this stuff, like the words you have to say. It doesn't, but hopefully you just get the gist of it, because if any of this stuff, if it's like, what, just go in and ask them. Just go in and do whatever for your meditation, your connection, and then just say, show me what, and then images. But you got to remember, you got to translate the images. Yeah, like it's things will come in and it's like a picture show kind of, and you got to translate, but they're also, it's not like, sometimes it's words being said, but sometimes it's like a whole thing. It's like you'll just know, like a whole thing is given to you. So just ask them to show you any of this stuff if it doesn't make any sense, because it is really hard to explain. But so the energies with the convergence point, and so the 5D mindset is a different way of looking at life. And when you go into the different way of looking at life, which is more connected to what you are in the inside, your spiritual connection, your soul's connection to what it's from, its world, then instead of the avatar's world. So it's kind of like a splitting between the two focuses. What I'm always saying, how they've shown me and shown me and shown me a million times, is reality is where your focus is. It's just your focus. And so the two energies were there, and they were becoming unsettled from each other, and kind of like in this separation. But then they started pulling apart. So they were in the convergence, and that is when, I don't know, there's something about the storm, for sure, but I don't know if that is the beginning of the storm, the eye of the storm. Yeah, it would be like more the beginning. And would this be like the eye of the storm? I don't know, like all those micro, macro references and shit. But anyways, so the two energies there, but then so they're going into this part where they're separating. So it's not like the two, it's two states of mind. It's like two ways of approaching life, kind of, is the separation. And so, it is being in your 3D, or pulling free and being in your soul, like you're focused on your human rights and stuff, and you understand that you are a being in this planet. I did just see this one video though, and this is I don't know. I mean, there's nothing you can do about some of these people. And it's a fucking shame that it's the Christians that just, you know, they put the bad taste in these people's mouths. And if the Christians would fucking reel it in, dude, reel it in. Fucking, you would, oh, people would come further if you were approaching it different. That's why they put this fucking religion bullshit out there. But so this guy, you can't see him because he's filming in Target. Target is so, like, everything is Target, 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 you know, Target. It's like, oh my God, that's what I mean, is all these corporations, like, it's like these people were married to all these things. It's like these fucking falling apart. Target, Target, McDonald's, you did me dirty. McDonald's, why? It's like, God damn, people, come on, it's fucking, especially when you're on this side of it, when you've already seen and you see the truth and the stuff, and you're like, it's fucking corporate. Yesterday I was explaining to my daughter, because we've got in some arguments, and it's cool because we can just be like, okay, this got to stop, like, we'll talk about this later. And some of the things I said, let's talk about this next year or in a few months or something. Because even though you don't understand what I'm saying when I say it, there's going to be something that's going to happen that's going to flip your world upside down. And all of a sudden you're going to see everything from a different perspective. And she's very locked in. She does not want to see other perspectives. And she pulls up the propaganda. See, this is what the Christians say. See, this is what they... So I'd already gotten that taste of that, and I was like, no, that is not. I talk to these people. This stuff right here is to make you not want to talk to them, so you don't listen to them. Because no, that's not what they think. They're not in there trying to do that. They're not in there trying to take over your life. They're just trying to live their own lives and stand up to the government themselves. And so, but they keep it where these both sides. Oh no, it's so stupid. Oh no, it's them. So then I was like, that, yeah, you know, but in this one argument with the, and I was going to say, because I didn't finish the Target thing, guy in there filming the Target thing, so he starts saying to this girl, how do you feel being here, promoting this Satan worshiping devil or whatever? It's like over the top. And she's just looking at him like, you're a fucking idiot, dude. And she's like, I don't care. And he goes, you don't care about Satan? You don't care about pedophiles? And she's like, I don't care. And he's like, you're gonna go to hell or something. She's like, I don't care. He's saying about God. And she's like, I don't believe in God. And it's like, dude, see how different the conversations would be if you weren't coming at it with your fucking moral hyper, your superiority of, you know, being the all-knowing. I've got God in my pocket, and he said, it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. But there's so much of that. The Christians, you know, that's what I'm saying. They've got a big awakening coming themselves. They think they're out there fucking saving the world, and they're holier than thou fucking way. And it's like, that is not, you can't do that. People would come if the people want to know that there's something real, that there is your connection. Like, people are so confused about things, and then they just need to know that they matter, that this is real, that you're here for a purpose. And, you know, get them to get into, and their soul will turn on. Their soul's fighting against control. Christians are like, hell yeah, control. God says. It's like, okay. Because the one thing we were arguing, we've just been in a bunch of arguments. Anything I've said, like yesterday when she came out, I was doing a quick little video on YouTube. I was downloading my TikTok, and this video popped up, and I'm just outraged. It's one of those things that just really outrages me. And it was just like, so stupid. And so I was just like, okay, please explain this to me. If gender doesn't matter, then why in the fuck do people lose their goddamn minds if somebody misgenders them? And so then I'm finished, and she's like, what? What? Like, she's always thinking like I'm this major ignoramus. Last time I was like, and then how did you get raised? Like, you know, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. This is the propaganda, but it's doing your goddamn brain. And, but anyways, so, you know, we had a serious talk. So some of these things, you know, we've had these serious talks about, you know, like, you know, my ignorance. That's why I've said, okay, let's talk about this in a few months. Let's see when you broaden your perspective, when you look a little deeper into things. Let's see what are you thinking of then? So, anyways, so we did have a talk about like that this the whole elder because she's in that now with her. So it has a big identifying thing with that. Like there's a lot of that in my family, and there's a lot in everybody's family, and that's what I was saying. One of the things I was saying to her, because she's like, yeah, those Christian conservatives, those Republicans, and they do this and they do that. And I said, that's not true. I said, I see them, I listen all the time. I don't just go past their videos. And every single family at this point has a couple of gay people and probably a trans person in it. Like everybody's family already has this in their families. It's like not people like they accept these things. That's propaganda what you're reading, and it's very frustrating for people to accept things that constantly said that you don't accept it, you don't accept it, you don't accept it. What the fuck do I got to do? Wear your damn t-shirt? And so then I was like, oh, well, that's what the LB, that's the corporation, that's the organization. I said, but back in the day, when gay people started coming out, they just wanted to be accepted in society. They were going out, starting businesses, being productive people in society. They just wanted people to see them as like they weren't a pervert. They weren't a weirdo because they fell in love with a man and they're a man. So it was very different. That's people don't understand that unless you lived it, the difference in the climate at different times. And so, people just want to be accepted. Well, that's where the corporations jump on board. Hell yeah, we got t-shirts for that. We got y'all logo. We're gonna take this. We're gonna take this up another notch, and so they jump in. But it's like just like what is his name? I was trying to think of it yesterday. My daughter was like, "Who are you talking about?" I've talked about him so many times, but I've seen videos now. Yeah, he's an actor. He was on the goddamn Price is Right, and he was a fella then. He's only been a girl 370 days or something like that. But he's a fella, very, very flamboyant fella, and it's Drew is the host of The Price is Right for this clip, and he wins, which I was like, okay, the whole thing just knowing that he is an actor, where he's at in his place now as a corporate sponsor, is that he is, I think that they feed him the prices in those fucking game shows. I think that they pick who's gonna win, and they tell him ahead. Because it was weird. But anyways, he fucking does the most outrageous, flamboyant dance. Oh, I saw this as it was a Matt Walsh. Somebody was sharing a clip of a Matt Walsh show. So Matt Walsh is a guy, I think he has a podcast or something, because I see clips of his all the time, but he must be something with the trans thing, because he's always those are the clips I see all the time, is these things about the trans people and stuff. So he was showing, because he's always like, asking them questions, like, make this make sense, because he'll go and he'll speak somewhere and they all come and try and confront him in it. So these are the clips I see where he's always, it's like the battles come and he's always there. So, but he does say things that are just like, make sense. It's like, that's the thing. People got to start using your goddamn logic. So, let's see, I've got 3 stories open or something. Let's see, Matt Walsh, I was done with that. The clip that I just saw. Oh yeah, because it was him in the game show thing. And when he wins because he guessed $5.99, and then the thing was $5.99. So then he wins that pool table, but I don't know what else he won, because he just took over the show, started dancing, throwing himself on the floor, spinning like in the most flamboyant, over-the-top way imaginable. And so, yeah, that's his persona. That's the character. He was probably, approached at some time. There's a lot of people who want to be famous, and they say, okay, well, but you're going to be, you're going to be a gay you're going to be gay. We need to push that, And then people be like, okay, so many girls are like, I want to be a singer. And then they go in and, okay, well, put on some skimpy clothes, will make you a pop star. And so but the people play their part. But the people play their part because they're there to learn from the experience. There's something that happens that their soul came into experience. It's people out here who think like that, oh, well, that's attainable. I'm going to go and spend my whole life trying to become famous, and I'm going to do anything wacky and anything silly to go try and be famous. So you got these people out here doing just weird ass stuff so that they can try and be famous. And then they are, it's like you're humiliating yourself in order to try and be known. So I don't know, they want to be known for being, I don't know. But the whole thing is like you're going against your own feeling good inside yourself. Like like this is what I said to my daughter yesterday too. Was like every day people sell their soul. Every time you go against your own soul, your soul doesn't want you. You just sold out. You went against your inner guidance, your inner knowing, and as soon as you do, that's selling. Why? What was it that drew you out from that? What, I mean, those are the questions to ask yourself. But anyways, so with, is it saying that they go in and they take over these corporations, and then they'll use it later so that they can take them down. It's just so they have control. And so then they get all these people, thinking they've got all this support, all these people jump on board, and then they always have their instigators and more people, and like, I don't want to say, like, some personalities, some people just really go all in. They go all in, but there's a leader. There's like they set a tone. And so then they pull out different aspects of people's personality. So that's why it's like really hurtful when people go in and they say certain generalizations over people. But that is why they want to keep people in that very generalized. Don't go deeper. Don't see somebody as a person and see, their pain and where they're coming from. Just look at them as like a disorder, like just a problem, just somebody who's just an interference. That's how they have people looking at each other all the time now. It's like, you're just in my way. Like, you see that so much on the road. People, and I've talked about this before too. It's like that's the extension of the vehicle. The vehicle is an extension of the vehicle. So the energy that you're putting out comes out through your vehicle, even though we don't know that. We don't understand that. And I've picked up on that. I've talked about that before, because I've picked up on it before when I was out. I've talked about this stuff a lot of times. But, like that one time, it was so cool when I was driving down the highway and I got caught in that same space-time as that other car. It was the coolest thing. I've had so many cool things happen. I think people just got to open up, because I think sometimes they have a cool thing happen and then they're just like, they just discount it, ignore it, or something like that. You got to pay attention to the cool things. They're not just weird phenomena. They're really happening. And, but when I was all of a sudden in that thing with the car, and we were like moving together, I could feel it. It was like we were in this bubble again, right? And I felt the sound. It was the trippiest thing, because we're all going, and it was so fast, and it's going around this, when you're coming down from the pass, heading towards Seattle. And so there's like those curves and stuff. So, and some of them are like big curves, and you're going way down. It's intense. And then you got it like 4 or 5 lanes going across, and you've got these, people all going 70, 80 miles an hour. It's insane on some parts of the pass. And so when we were going, and they're all going fast in my car, and before I got my tires, it was kind of like jumping and stuff, and I'm like trying to slow down. I'm like, my daughter's like, oh, she's bitching every single fucking thing I do. And so then all of a sudden, it was like, I went into it, because I could feel it. It was like a plump, it was like you could feel a sensation, you could hear it and everything. And plus it was like the movement. And then everything on the other side was moving outside. They were moving separate, but the two of us were in this thing and we were moving together, and the sound was different. Everything was different. And then all of a sudden we came out of it and it was the same thing again, like this plop. And then all of a sudden we were back in it. It was the craziest thing. But I think those kinds of things happen all the time, that we just don't pay attention. We're just busy, we're distracted. The more distractions too. I mean, when my daughter's driving, when I'm driving, I'm like driving. I never am on my phone while I'm driving, especially out here in these mountain roads and stuff. Like it's something you switch, something can be in front of you so fast, like no fucking way. And she's driving and texting. Well, she does voice text, but still she's got to read my thing, unless maybe her car talks to her and tells her. I don't know, maybe they do that now. The message tells and then she just talks back. But anyways, I was like, you gotta drive. And she's like, I'm bored. See, they got people's minds so overly stimulated. That's one of the biggest problems with these kids and stuff. Why the kids are now shorting out. Like, kids are fucking murdering over this shit. A girl just killed her, like, 14. I think she's 14 years old, and I think she killed 19 kids at her school by starting a fire because the school took away her phone, and she was in boarding school. And it was the kids who hadn't gone home yet. And then she killed them all. Because she told the school, give me my phone or you're going to be sorry. And that is, what was that? I was just seeing more and more things of, it is like it's doing something to the brain. And then when you take it away, the brain is like hurting. It's like painful. And so it needs it back. That is like where people say like AI took over. Yeah, it did something. It's like a flavor, an addiction. It's something was triggered and they can't turn it off. And they don't know what's going on. And since it hasn't happened to their adults don't know what's going on, but I can see it. So I can see what's going on, and it's crazy when you can see through so many things, and it's kind of annoying, and everybody thinks you're crazy. So I'll be so glad when this stuff goes, man, I swear. Yesterday, even to my daughter, because we were having all these different talks, and it would have to be like, okay, let's just talk about this later. Let's talk about, don't talk, keep going, because she starts getting really upset. She really, really thinks, like, what the propaganda tells her, like she's got a battle going on. That's not me. And then, but she's leaning on the other side that it is that I'm just unaware because I'm so ignorant, I guess. But anyways, so I said at one point later in the evening, because what I keep seeing coming, what I am seeing coming is like I can completely see how it is that like the awakening for some of the things. It's going to be just, the world is going to flip upside down. So whatever, it can be something that you do, whatever it's going to do. Like, you've got all these people, think about this, you've got all these people looking at you right now in a certain perspective, and they think you're crazy as hell. And it can completely be when things start going good. And that's what I'm saying. It's trippy. Like, it seems like it's trippy. Like, these two realities are going. And as they're separating, you're seeing for this one group that everything is going better. And looking at, like, everything is just becoming seamless. And then for the other, is going to, I think, keep being rocky. And because that is a part of the falling apart of that reality. But they want to experience, they want to write it out, they want the things that they're trying to heal from their past lives. They can go through that experience, and it will, it could be crossing paths with some, there's reasons, where people sit there, oh, they're so stupid, they're so mindless. No, their soul has a reason, it has a purpose, it's doing its thing, and it's going to wake up when it's supposed to wake up. And, it's just the way it is. And, anyways, so I had a bunch of things. Okay. go back to the other thing I was saying. So last night when I was sitting there, and because I keep seeing all these different things, and I will say something, and then the reaction or whatever, and I'm like, okay, so when this flips, this is gonna flip. It is gonna be crazy, and some of it is going to be the good things that are happening to the people that are separated, because these people don't see it. The 3D vision, the 3D goggles, the the view through those goggles is very different, and so there's going to seem to be magic happening. It kind of like, I don't know how else to explain it, but there's going to be things that in certain people's lives they're going to happen, and that's going to be the flip for these people. That's what's going to flip them upside down. That's going to be like their world just turns upside down because something starts going good for somebody that they're not seeing coming, because they think that this person is going a completely different direction, because they don't understand the direction they're going, because they're focused on this reality that doesn't match this reality. So this person's going one direction, and this person thinks like, oh, okay, this is crazy, they're crazy. And all of a sudden everything is going to just be like fucking perfect on this, and that's going to flip this one's world upside down. So that is what I'm saying, that I can see a lot of this flipping is going to be like. And one of the things too, because I've been talking about this certain thing for 5.5 years, and this certain person, it comes in my dreams. Their energy comes around, like they're around me. They come around me, like we're connected. And once I started remembering, the familiarity, then I started being like, oh my gosh, I've been connected with this person since I was a kid. When I would go in my bedroom, I was connecting to them. And I didn't, but I didn't know that until they came back around. And then once they came back around, then I was like, oh my gosh. But see, like, to people who don't understand about souls and all that stuff, that sounds like crazy talk. That sounds like, okay, that's pretty crazy talk. But when you are living from your soul, you know this isn't crazy. This is real. Like, y'all, like, I used to feel way different about it. Now I'm just like, it's y'all are cut off from what's real. You're distracted because you're trying to prove something to yourself. You're trying to understand yourself, whatever it is going on. But that doesn't discount what's going on over here. This is what's real. It's just you're in the game and you're focused on the game. I never got as deep into the game. I've had different time periods where I was playing the game, but I wasn't as deep into the game. I don't think I could be, because they were telling me stuff all the time. Like, I did never doubt that they're the aliens and all that stuff. I did never doubt that they weren't monsters, and I did never doubt that there wasn't all of the things that we've ever heard in folklore, that wasn't real. I never doubted any of that stuff. I always knew that stuff was real. That is my internal. And so anyways, when soul stuff, is real to me. And so when somebody comes around, comes in your dreams, and it's like, oh. And then plus, it was before that, it was like, hey, how do you do? It was like the soul connection before that. Like, it was weird. Like, I'll explain so much more later, when people will be more interested. But because I think it has something to do with people want to learn how to be connected with their soul. So I think that's what I feel like is what I'm supposed to be teaching, what it's going to be. But I don't know until I land where I'm landing. I don't know. Like, I'm just doing what they tell me each day and just waiting to see what's going to happen. And then I'm like, and you're going to lose your house. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. I'm like, let's just talk about it. So when we start this, the rental, like, what are we going to do? You're going to lose it. It's like, oh my God, won't you stop? That's what I'm saying. These 5D, 3D, the separation is occurring. And they don't see what's coming. And so it's going to seem like, what? That is going to flip the world upside down. So that's what I'm saying. Simple things like that you don't even realize. Like me not paying the house, not flipping right there. I mean, because it's so significant to the storyline, so that will flip the person. So anyways, that's what I'm saying, is there's going to be a lot of stuff in people's lives that they're going to see that they were the catalyst, they were the thing that, and it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be really cool. And, it's going to be a shame for some people who are going to go in and start arguing, fighting, and I told you so, and be really hateful. But that's because their soul has to learn this stuff. These are things that happen over and over, life to life to life to life to life. And the faster you can start, being productive in your life. And this is something I've known, when I was a little kid. It used to stress me out, like, my dad being drunk all the time. I kept being like, man, he just wastes his life. What is going on? Every day he has I saw it from a perspective, and I can say those words and people will hear them on a certain level, but the level I was talking was very much more on a deeper spiritual level. Not just like, oh yeah, he's a drunk, he just wastes his life away. No, it was like, oh my God. It was a lot deeper. But anyways, but there's some of us, it's a spectrum. And there had to be some of us that were more connected spiritually, there'd be people probably way more connected than me. Like, I don't know. I just know my own connection. But I just know spiritual stuff is real. I just know when they're talking to you and stuff that's real. I feel, sad for people who, uh, kids start saying, these voices are talking to me in my head, and the parents think they're crazy. And, instead of listening and saying, what are they saying? What are they talking about? Well, why don't you ask them about this? Why don't you introduce me and stuff? That's, to me, that would be the better way to go. But anyways, so I said, well, all of a sudden, if I'm, this person is all of a sudden, comes into my life, then, is that going to be a shock to you? And she was sitting there, and it was like, because I've talked about this, and I'm always like getting, oh, okay, and so, when I said, so is that going to be like, would that be a real shock to you? Like, if that happened, would that be a real shock? And she was like, yeah, it would. I said, so that would flip your world upside down right there. And I don't know, I don't think I said that part, but in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, like when you start being like aware of like what you're doing, where you're going, where you're headed, like what they tell you. And the whole thing is like some of the things are hard to trust and listen and stuff. Like I can see where people turn the other direction all through the process because it is hard. There's constant places to find doubt and insecurity and that you're not worthy and all of those things when they set you on your path. So it's easy, but you got to remember when you're on your path and you're flipping yourself back, that's because you're there. You're going to learn what makes you worthy. You're still going back to the path. That's what they're trying to keep you on the path. So if you leave the path because you feel insecure and unworthy, then you will still be put back on the path. You just have to go learn some more lessons just so you can see your worthiness, and then you're back on the path. And that was always going to happen the way it was going to happen. Nothing can change how it's going to happen. Everybody was already lined up, just like on the Truman Show. Just like, well, everybody's already lined up and ready to go. It's like every experience you have is already lined up. It's ready to go. And you're going to be in the place you're supposed to be when you're going to be there. And that's destiny. That's fate. That is the game. That is the ride. Is a destined ride. It has its own path. It has its own destination. And there's no, I just can't, to me, I just can't believe how, that gives the universe order. You got to just think about, like, if this was really the chaos is what they try and tell you it is, it's like, no, that is the chaos that would be the universe, to try and just have nothing be set, to just be, like, because things, it's written, So it's the writing of it. And the writing of it could be a split second. It could be, the same thing as when you have a thought pop into your head. That's it. That's the whole life. You just created the whole life. In your advancement, your other souls that you're around, that you hang out with, that it all of the creation can come together so quickly. It's not like, before life, you have to go sit down at the drawing board, gather everyone around, and, okay, we're gonna go over this again. Okay, this time you're gonna do this. No, it's not like that. It's so much more seamless. It's just a natural action. It's a natural occurrence, kind of. And, another thing yesterday, too, that they were kind of made it clear to me, too, is like with when I was out there doing the work, and I was saying, like, I would be like, my hands would turn into these man hands, and all of a sudden I would feel like this other person, and I'd be doing this stuff that I didn't know how to do. And I was like, I don't know if that's, a past life of me. I don't know if that's me as an open channel. I don't know if that is another aspect from my oversoul. Like, but that is what it kind of seems like, is like the oversoul, like the higher self of you, your higher self, which can be the higher self of a whole lot of different lives going on right now. That gives us God. Am I worthy? Am I there for, like this whole thing. For some people, it could be, that they, you just don't know everybody's soul connection, soul's perception, and stuff like that. You don't know what they're working on or anything. And so, but the higher self, is a higher self to multiple lives, multiple beings. Like, it's not Kelly having a whole bunch of different experiences. It's Kelly is one of the experiences that the oversoul is having. And so it's all these different experiences. And then you go back into, like this is one thing, and this is why I think why people like to, like, what hear people, I need reincarnation, I'll never do it again, I need out of this. But when you're over there and you go into that, you go back into that place of everybody being there, and you meld back into just the energy of connection, then you don't have the same identity, the same like you're constantly wanting to understand yourself. You're constantly wanting to express and see yourself as a cell. So is it one cell in my body all of a sudden was like, I just want to feel, what is it, and started expressing itself, coming out. And, so it's kind of like that. Like, if I'm the solar system, and all the cells of my body are all the souls, and all the organs, and everything is made up of all of these souls, and all of the different experiences, and all of the different, and then you think of the different depths and the moving through to get to different places, moving into the space of seeing. And there's like all different things that when you think about the possibilities, if you thought of your body as being a destination, a place for a soul to go to understand and express itself, and all of the different things, like that is totally micro macro, because the souls, and then going out, and then the places, but see, it keeps going, because it keeps going and going and going. Everything is the going out of it's the expression of the thing. It starts with the thing, and it expresses out in all different ways, and in all different, that's the micro macro. So all things are expressing, but it's like there's like in every expression there's the whole gamut. It is the spectrum. It is the connection, but there is the micro, and then it goes out into the bigger, into the macro. What was that? It was like a day or two ago. I saw something with the giants or something. I know there's a bunch of stuff with the bone. Like, there's a bunch of stuff. Like, I think the giants are going to, for sure. I think the giants are already here. But I think that they're going to, this is going to be some exciting stuff that's going to happen. You know, for sure. Like, for people who, I mean, I see videos all the time. People sitting outside looking at UFOs, they're scared shitless. Like, people are terrified. People are horrified at aliens. And these people who have sat and watched all these big box office Armageddon movies and these alien, like, I can watch a movie like that, and I mean, if I watch a movie like that, there's so many of them I did never even watch. And then since 2020, there was a couple, like Interstellar. There was a few different ones I watched, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're putting truth right there. That is, but you know, I know aliens aren't monsters. I know they're not mean. I know they're not coming to kill us and stuff. So, like that, people who watch that stuff, who don't have a connection, who believe that, like, they're all terrified. They're all horrified about it. And, I mean, they're scared. To me, man, a fucking spaceship is going over my house and is, you know, coming in and stuff. I'm going to be scared. I'm going to be like, hell yeah, come on. Let's start a bonfire and sit out here and talk about shit. Like, there's nothing to be scared of. These are beings. These are advanced beings. They're not coming with laser beams to shoot you, which I don't know if you've seen the footage of the laser beam coming out of the sky and doing the explosions. I don't remember where it was. It just happened. It was some other country, though. And I think, I don't know, it's just becoming confusing now. But you see the footage of the laser beam. They had like a few explosions, and then, so I don't know if somebody was filming or something, but then you see this laser beam come straight out of the sky. And it looks like the color of the old sun. It looks like this orange laser beam. I don't know who's shooting it or what, but I assume it's the government using advanced weapons on us. And so, you know, today's Sunday, so today should be, if something big is supposed to be happening, I think it's supposed to be happening today or tomorrow. So, you know, we'll see what goes down. But I think this isn't even the 31st, is it? It might be the 31st. I think this is the 28th. Is it? You know, I don't know. There's just all these days. I mean, all I know is that this stuff's coming. It's definitely, this stuff is going to happen. And I can't believe how many people are expecting it to be, the thing that's going to happen is going to be a solar flash, which I can't say it's not going to be, but I've gone through this already with the solar flash, where we were all expecting it to happen on a certain day, and then it didn't happen, and everybody, you know, people turned on each other, people went crazy. To me, it was like, oh, well, it's still coming. It's still coming. I mean, it's written. It's coming. And you know, the reset, I mean, that is none of the times and ages that they don't go together. People are constantly trying to put things together. They don't go together. They're separate, independent ages and time. And with this time, this one that we're in right now, it is like a merging. So there's like a lot of people who were here for Atlantis in that age, you know, where we think about like the Egyptians and the pyramids and stuff like that. A lot of us are here now. And so, but it's about this full circle kind of thing. We're not coming back to play the same part. We're coming in to play a different part, because you're always playing different parts. From everybody, I just think more people need to study into reincarnation, make their decisions themselves, and probably some people studying into it, maybe their own self would be telling them, you know, no, listen to your own self. You gotta listen to your own self. Always listen to your own self, but make sure you're listening to your guidance and not your ego. You gotta get the difference between your intuition, your gut, and your ego. Yeah, is where you gotta start recognizing the two different energies. And so, man, I'm going blank. 49 minutes. When I start feeling like going blank, now I keep wanting to know, like, what is the time? It starts feeling like, I don't know. And so, anyways, what was I talking about? Maybe there's something else I'm supposed to talk about. Oh, because the solar flash. So all these people who think that the solar flash is about to happen, but to me, and I've heard it, I think 2 more people say the same thing as me. It doesn't make any sense for the solar flash to happen yet, because there's not enough people awake. Maybe I've only heard one other person say that, but to me, there's not enough. I mean, the solar flash part of the reset thing, that is a big part. Like, that is going to be, like, I think there's going to be more preparation. Like, we're going to be more prepared. And that part, that could be when there's going to be people who are going to leave on ships. Well, how the hell are you going to have people come and leave on ships right now? Like, you would have to be doing it if the solar flash was about to happen. So, and for there to be ships all around here, so it's like it's like the opening. It's like the opening the door, so people start seeing, so they start questioning, and then, the people who are real scared, well, they just stay up there. They're not doing anything, and then talk to other people. It becomes an open conversation. So then hopefully people get in conversations with people like me who tell them, like, there's nothing to be scared of. They're not monsters. That's out of the movies. And, there's lots of people who talk to them, who they've been talking to other kids. I've been talking to other adults. Like, I talk to people. And so to me, that it has to be that this other thing's got to happen. This arrests and these things, the outrageous things, the things that are going to wake people up, the things that are going to be like, oh my God, I cannot believe it. So much of that. And so when that has to occur, and that, I think, is what the energy from that is what creates the solar flash. So to me, the solar flash is still a few months away. Like, we got to go through this summer of, trauma. It's going to be very traumatic summer, I think. With there's going to be so many trials. There's going to be so many people who are just devastated and going through their dark night. There's going to be so many people who are overreacting and acting out. There's going to be people whose darkness is just purging. It's going to be, a rough summer. There's going to be a lot of destruction and pain. And unless everybody all of a sudden, it's the people. It's the people doing it. It's the people's reaction. And you just watch. It's a very natural reaction. Like, they all do these same things. And so we got to go through that process with all the new people. All these people. So then that energy of all of that is what creates the solar flash. Then the beings, because then we're talking QH, the quantum system. Then we are talking technology. So once this stuff starts happening, the awakening part, all this disclosure, then there starts being justice, all that stuff. That is when the patents and, free cities and all this stuff starts coming and coming and coming and coming. And so there'll be a lot of technology and stuff. And there's supposed to be something with the aliens. They're going to teach us some things with technology and stuff. So there'll be some type of an introduction. There'll be, and it could be, that they're only talk to certain people. And, if they're talking a different language, like, you have to be able to, like, I don't know. Like, people like me who can just hear them and stuff, I guess. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it will go. If it would be like, the president comes out and talks with them and stuff, and maybe there's a translator, I don't know. And then they come out, and then the people see, like, oh, okay. And so it's like a slow introduction, kind of, to get people used to, okay, so they're not here to kill us and eat us. It's the people who are already here doing that. And these ones are coming to get us out of the situation. The ones that they tell you are going to come and kill you and eat you are the ones coming to save us from the ones who are killing us and eating us. So, they, like that introduction into technology and advancement in the beings and stuff, then I don't know, somewhere in there, like, I don't know, somewhere in there is when they would take people off the ship. But it's supposed to be that it would be the low vibration people, like the people who wanted to stay in the 3D world, that they were going to be taken into other places that were still at that vibration, because they can't be at this other vibration where we're going to be, because it's energetic. It's not like the planet's moving, but the energy is changing. And so that's what I'm saying, like, people have to show themselves that the it's like a giant exorcism is being done on the planet by the universe. It is, the energy is changing so that all of the demons have to be purged out. And I'm saying demons loosely. It's the energy. It's the dark energy. It's the energy that people have developed a relationship with, and they feed each other negative back and forth, back and forth. That energy has to be purged, and it feeds in with ego. It's really attached to ego. So ego, there's a lot of that, severing those ties with these entities that you've attached with, and your ego is fed by, like you're better than other people and stuff. So anyways, all of that energy on the planet changing causes that energy to become uncomfortable. That's why we see all these overreacting and reacting and all this crazy stuff. Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah. So there's this movie that we watched yesterday, and so if you don't want to have it spoiled, if you like to watch a movie and not know what's going to happen, then don't listen to the rest. But this movie was so significant to me, and this is what was really sticking out to me too, is the 3D, 5D thing. This was really sticking out to me. So it's called The Sun, and it is Laura Dern and Hugh Jackman are these parents, and they have this 17-year-old son, and the parents are divorced. And this movie, I thought it was really, really cool. It's very, like a lot of, like if you, it would have triggers. I can't imagine it wouldn't have triggers for a lot of people if you're looking for that kind of thing, if you're open to it. If you're not open to it, then it's just going to be like a movie. But if you're open to it, there's things that get you to think. And there's so many different things, so many different dynamics going on. Because the dad left the mom, it's like the dad wasn't happy for a really long time, and wasn't working out with the mom, just didn't like the mom, and then leaves her, like abandons her and the son, and goes and falls in love with somebody else, and goes and marries him and has another baby. And the mom was so resentful and so hateful, and she would talk so much smack about the dad to his son. The son was becoming just super, super depressed. His life was just ripped out from under him. He was just having a happy life and a happy family. He's the only child. And then all of a sudden his parents got divorced. That was his trauma. Like everybody, like you don't have to just, every single person isn't, raped as a child and that's their trauma, or beaten or whatever. All the different traumas, all the different experiences that people come in to experience are very vast. So this is a huge card this kid was dealt. When they talk about the trauma is, God, I gotta turn. The trauma being that the deck you're dealt as a child. So he was dealt this, so you could see like abandonment, rejection, and all this stuff his mom was saying. There's no telling, but in all these different relationships, I thought that they did really good at showing the other people, the parents, and the grandparents, they were working on their damage. Nobody's ever working, like, this is what we've got the problem with the kids, is because we're working on our own damage. we're not doing what's right for them. We're working on our own. And we've gone through enough generations now that that's become clear to those of us paying attention. Like, I don't know, it'll become clear to different people different times, but it's very clear. And I've been noticing it in different parts of it. But this movie was just like, sometimes things just come together really well when you've got all these open boxes in your head. So the kid is so sad. He's just so depressed. He's so down. The dad is very driven. The dad was beaten by his dad. So he's very driven of being this perfectionist and is very cut off from his emotions. And he is just talks about success. And I think he's a lawyer or something. So he is, I don't know, just pushes on this school to his kid. And his kid's not academic. He doesn't want to do that. He, he's not, like, school doesn't matter to him that much. He doesn't want to be a lawyer. He doesn't want to go to college. He wants to be a writer. And, he's emotional. He's artistic. He's creative. I've got a wheeze right here. And this is the thing that people don't understand. The child born to you is the one that came to teach you. It didn't come in to just be your perfect little doll. It came in to teach you. So it has to be different than you. And so it's like the next aspect of self that is different. So it's teaching you by looking back. And so so many people, like I see so many people in the disconnect with how people see it, man. Sometimes I'm talking to them, I'm sorry. Okay. Because the conversation is like, I can see there's just like, there's so many things going on. Okay, so, hold on. Okay, so, because it is like, it's oh God, so much. So, the parent is cut off. And he's pushing it, so because we got all these people, they're pushing their agenda, their social justice agenda, warrior shit on their kids. Your kid could grow up and not be anything like that. But what you think is going to matter to them because it matters to you. But that's not what that's. And then the frustration that happens when people get to that point of wanting their kid to be what they want them to be, and their kid refusing to be. So you have that kind of dynamic going, but the kid is a giver, and I've decided the world is made up of two people, givers and takers. And just start thinking about it. Think about, like, look at all the different relationships of the toxicity, the negative. That there's always a giver. And then the takers take. Then the ones who want to take will just latch onto the givers. The givers will get sucked. Like, it's just give and take, give. It's what it is. But it's the givers need to learn boundaries, and the takers need to learn balance. They need to learn how to, take care of themselves, not be dependent on somebody else to take care of them. So there's lessons and all this stuff. But there's definitely like two. It's like we line up to play the game. I'm going to go in as a giver this time. I'm going to go in as a taker. I don't know, but it seems like it. Anyways, so the person, so the dad is cut off from the son. He's focused on this is what will give you joy. This will give you go become a successful lawyer. You'll be happy. Because, the son was trying to prove to his dad, who told him he was worthless, whatever, his whole life, and beating him up, that he, that's how he healed and proved it to himself. So now it's like that's what his kid needs to do. And I know this stuff because I saw that in my own life, that I was constantly parenting from my own trauma, the things that my parents didn't give me, that I thought I needed, that I was trying to give to my kids, but it wasn't what they needed. They needed what they needed, not what I needed. So I'm still trying to heal my shit and give them what I needed, but I'm discounting what they need. I'm not paying attention because I'm sure about what they need because it's what I need. So that's like trauma parenting kind of thing. In this movie just shows it so well, in the toxicity of Laura Dern and her just her frustration, not knowing what to do with her kid, just in the depression, she being abandoned and stuff, and all of the hatefulness that came up in her, that when that happened, all of that hatefulness that she hadn't healed, then it goes out into her son, and then he's having to listen, probably rescue, all of those things. So this kid's generally, I mean, he's really burdened. And this represents so well in our society what we have going. And even the Hugh Jackman character, he's got these flashbacks going back to the childhood of the kid, and it's idyllic. They're always out on, hooking a fish, and let's, out on a boat looking at the sun, and, like this idyllic childhood that he's remembering back. The kid doesn't have these memories. The kid has completely different. So our perspectives, what we choose to remember, how we choose to look at things is very significant. And so he goes back to confront his dad. And then it has this whole dynamic, which is fucking powerful. And it's so, because the dad isn't healed yet. And the dad becomes very defensive and angry and bitter and stuff, and all of that, it's all unhealed wounds. And it's like, the Hugh Jackman, like, oh, well, you beat me, you weren't nice to me. It's like, shut up, you pussy bitch. Like that dad was probably, he thought he was doing way better than his dad. Like, he probably had way worse. And that's why his attitude, like, remember when I said about my mom being like, when I'm whining and complaining and about my life and it's so hard, and, she's coming out of this life where it's like, shut up, you little pussy, like, goddamn, get some fucking backbone, you bitch. Like, that's what she's probably thinking in her head, because she's gone through way worse. She thinks she's watered it down for me, like, she's made things way better. So, and I'm talking about a different part, like when I got served that time and I called her and was crying and stuff. And she told me, well, it's that abortion pill. I'm sure it's that abortion pill I took. That's what's wrong with you. And I'm, trying to resolve, her perspective of me is like, that dad is like, God damn, what do I got to do? Like, it can't be perfect. And it's like the people ahead don't realize the pressure you're putting on the people behind. And so, and that's why we got to catch up. We got to bring all of this energy forward to heal it and then start again. And so, all of these generations of this power, this energy of this unhealed trauma, where it's like, everybody's trying to make it better, but nobody could make it. Like, we've got to get to this point of it flipping. So that is why, all of this stuff, that's why there's so much talk of healing ancestral lines and all the trauma and all this stuff, is because we're literally doing that from generation to generation. And right now it's in this big power thing, that this movie shows it so good. And it has some more things. And this is where I'm going to, say, I'm going to blow the ending for you. So if you don't want to know the ending, you want to go in and watch it now, then go in and watch it. And then, because I'm going to probably finish up with this anyways, is, so the parents, they do end up kind of coming together. There's so many awkward, strange, but they do, come back together as friends through for this boy. But it's, a lot of fumbling, and, and there's a lot of drama with the man and this other family, which I think shows so much. And the new girl, she's way younger, and every motherfucking time that the boy and the dad, because the boy ends up moving in with the dad for a while, and every time the boy is connecting with the dad, and like there's a scene where the boy and the dad, there's a song on, and they start dancing, and the boy and dad are out there just dancing, having a good time. There comes stepmom, comes in and just takes it over. And then the director shows the boy just standing over, just dead again. And it's like, ah, damn, it's so fucking sad. So simple what this kid wants. And but everybody's got their own wounds. So then And that happens several times. The boy and the dad shifts his attention directly to the woman trying to get it, and the stepmom definitely, she doesn't have the same connection to the boy. And there's so many good scenes with that, so many powerful traumatic scenes that people need to see and recognize their own selves in these scenes, see themselves so they can heal themselves. It's a big thing. You gotta see yourself to heal yourself. And so they do come back together, and they are, becoming friendly, and they're talking. And there's been boundaries set with the other woman, the new mom with the new baby, the new brother. And the kid, he's a cutter too, and he says, he cut, and I could see it so much, I could understand so much, like the stuff that when I'm watching it, I'm watching this, like this was really impactful to me, because I'm watching it and I could only see the soul stories. That's all I could see. And my daughter's watching this story, and I'm watching, and so I keep saying all this other stuff, and she's like, oh my God, well, I'm like, I can't help that. I can't stop how I see things anymore. Like, I can't see the other stuff. That's what I'm saying. I can't see it. I can only see this soul stuff now. And so the boy cutting, and he is, their dad's giving him a huge lecture on that. And, like, why would you hurt yourself? And he's like, I'm not. I'm bringing the pain to the surface, because the soul has got all this pain around it. And the being, the avatar is not healing. It's repressing it. The soul has all of this pain around it. It's crushing it. So it's cutting to bring the pain to the surface. I can see it so perfect. Like, I can see it on this totally different level that I'd never seen it before. And it was like, oh my gosh. Just like a soul who puts on a lot of weight. They put it on after a trauma, because they are protecting themselves. Because soul is doing these things. The soul is real. It's the real part of you. It's the only real part of you. And so the parents, they put him into a place. And I'm just going to stop. I'll just stop it there. I'll leave it. Go in and watch and see. And it's powerful. The whole thing is just extremely powerful movie. And it was definitely, a trigger to me, because what happens at the end is something that happened in my family. And so it was very similar. So it was like, there's a lot of things through the movie that, are really, really profound, if you're looking at relationships in a more, dissecting, trying to figure out, like, how can we do this better? How can we make things better? How can we feel better? How can we have better relationships? And it's shedding the old skin. It's letting go of who we were and becoming who we want to be, and connecting to yourself, because who you want to be is something great, and they'll tell you, but you got to see your own worthy. When they got you on your path and they're bringing you towards it, you got to keep seeing your own worthiness. You can't question them. You have to trust them. That's what this path is about. That's what this journey is about, is learning to trust and connecting, And if you want to see your higher self as a God, it is managing a lot. It's pretty godlike. It's got a lot of stuff going on. So, and if you want to say, hey, please, do you have time for me? And that's how you feel you need to approach it, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I just say don't approach it through somebody else's. Don't go through somebody else's. Don't go through somebody else's book. Don't go through somebody else's vision, somebody else's view. And that right now it seems that the church is another group that's falling apart. Like, all the groups are going to fall apart. Everything's going to be exposed. Everything is going to come to the surface. It can't survive. The energy won't, it can't, it has to come out. It's like the same thing as what all the humans are doing right now with the parasite cleanses. You put the right stuff inside, they can't survive. They have to come out. And that is energetically what is happening on the planet. And that is what people are actually seeing. Like, where they think so, this evil demon is coming out of people. Essentially, they're not demons per se, but they are energetic beings of a very condensed version of self. So they're just that. They're not multifaceted like what we are. So they're just a dark energy. They're just a simple creature. They're not a demon that's sitting there mastering. They're a master manipulator. That's where they get that kind of thing, because they feed a parasitic connection, is feeding back and forth off of you. It's telling you what you want to hear. It's giving you what you want to keep you in the position to keep feeding them what they want. So those are all things that through the awakening and healing that you will, naturally do, get rid of. That's why, you got to open the closet, let the skeletons out, release the demons, let all of the stuff out. But you got to face it. You got to let it be seen. So you've got to face yourself, and, letting go of all of that cleanses your soul, cleans you up so you feel better. You're not carrying all this garbage that you've carried from life to life. And believe you me, there is some shit going down from, like, I mean, in all of the different things you can just see. And at the end of the story, you just say it was for Gabriel. And my daughter said, oh, because she wanted to watch it because it's a book. And then the book, because her and her dad are the big readers. And the book is somebody's personal story, or written based on a story. So, but when you see the stories, like I've said, all the different movies, all the different stories are our stories. They're our stories. That's what we watch, is our stories. And that's what entertains us. And then that's how they manipulate and show direction, how they want us to react and act. It's all the training and stuff. Oh, one of the big arguments we got into yesterday too was, like, what is, to me, a girl needs to be empowered, and, you don't go out and put yourself in certain situations and then cry and say, it's not my fault. But the younger generation thinks that that's, you should be able to go do whatever you want, and if somebody does something, then they're wrong. When I was talking about that show, and I said, go in and watch that scene. I was explaining it, and she saw the scene very different. Like, it's like, no, and I said, let's talk about this in a couple months. Let's talk about this next year, this time. Let's just see if you look at it differently. Because I think part of the awakening is you just start looking at things different. You start seeing more perspectives, more. It isn't what they show you in the movies. It isn't what they tell you how to think, but I don't know, this is, I heard so many things. Like, I'm telling you, you cannot wake somebody up. They will wake up. And I feel like this thing coming, like it is supposed to be, they're supposed to be asleep until this thing happens. And it's the flip. It's the scene, everything all of a sudden the other direction. That is going to be, and I really think that is why so many have been going through so many things up until that point. Losing house, losing job, all of these things, because they had to heal a lot of stuff to get to the flip. Because when it flips and the world turns upside down, especially when you have been rocking it upside down, they're all on board with it upside down. When it flips, it's going to be, so that is going to be crazy. But then there's going to be very different conversations, very different. So anyways, we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. We'll see how it all plays out. So anyways, fingers crossed. Some shit goes down today, so we'll see. Hopefully. So I'll talk to you later. I was thinking if there was something else. Sometimes I don't know. There'll be so much more to say soon. So anyways, I will talk to you later. It seemed like there was something else, though, off of the TikTok thing. There's something I had said that I was like, oh, I gotta say that here. I don't know. Sometimes I say a lot of stuff on the TikTok things, and I try and remember so I can say them. the next day, because throughout the day they'll say things, but it's like a quick 1 minute thing. I don't want to go in and do, you know, a bunch of quick 1 minute videos for y'all, because I know the people on this are way more of like to sit and relax and listen. Nobody wants the quick little, like, it's overstimulation. Like, this is like calming. Like, let's think about it, talk about it, even if I'm all over the place. Anyways, here they come. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.